As Balochistan is hit by a bloodbath, India has slammed Islamabad for what New Delhi is calling frivolous comments that are designed to deflect from Pakistan's own failings. The last few days have seen an upsurge in unrest and violence in Pakistan's troubled area of Balochistan. Balochistan has long been fighting for autonomy and independence, and India made a reference to Pakistan's long history of suppressing its own people. In the midst of this rising violence in Balochistan, India Pakistan have also been hit by another area of conflict, and that is the World Cup cricket tournament. Pakistan claims that while it will take part in the tournament, it will not play against India. The ICC is now contemplating either sanctioning Pakistan or even suspending it from the series. To understand what is happening on the ground in Balochistan, its larger ramifications for the region, also for Pakistan-China relations, for China's operations on the ground, and also for sporting equations in the region, we'll be talking to a special panel in a moment from now. I'm Barkha. You're with the Mojo Story. On the program today, these are the kind of images that we have seen emerge out of Balochistan in the last couple of days. The BLA, the Baloch Liberation Army, says that 200 Pakistan security personnel have been killed. Pakistan, for its part, claims to have eliminated what it calls 145 militants. Amid these conflicting claims, India has slammed Islamabad and Pakistan's politicians, including Mohsin Naqvi, who, by the way, also leads the Pakistan Cricket Board, for pointing a finger at India. India has called these claims frivolous and designed to deflect from Pakistan's internal failures. Pakistan's control over Balochistan has long been tenuous. And in the midst of this violence, we've seen China suspend operations on the ground as well. Cricket is not unimpacted by all that is happening in Pakistan. While Pakistan claimed that it was taking a decision to step out of its match with India in solidarity, so-called solidarity with Bangladesh, actually, what's happening in Balochistan seems to have had its own impact. And now it's up to the ICC to decide whether Pakistan will be sanctioned or suspended. In Balochistan, the women you see on your screen are among those who are picking up guns against the Pakistan army. Two women, in fact, now prominently, their pictures released by the BLA as among women who have fought at the front line against the Pakistan army and are part of what the BLA calls its Fidain squad. A lot to talk about. Let me introduce our panel, our three very distinguished voices on the program today. To give us the Baloch perspective, I want to welcome to the program Bilal Baloch. He's a journalist based out of France. Namaskar and welcome to the program. Also joining us is veteran diplomat Ambassador Yash Sinha. Always a pleasure, sir. And also joining us is military veteran General Atta Hasnain, former General Officer Commanding of the 15 Corps in the Kashmir Valley, and somebody who's a fine strategic mind. Welcome everybody to the program. Ambassador Sinha, I'll start with you. A strongly worded statement from the MEA, basically saying that Pakistan's pointing a finger at India to deflect from its own internal failures, also attacking Pakistan for suppressing the will and the rights of the people of Balochistan. But there is a spiraling effect to this. It's now spilt over into the cricket world. Meanwhile, the violence and the blood rest and the bloodbath in Balochistan continues. Your thoughts on what is happening?
Barkha, what surprises me is that this is not a new problem. It's been there since the accession of Kalat to Pakistan. In fact, this is the fifth real wave of struggle which the brave Balochi people have been waging. And at this time, what is unique, and I'm sure Bilal Saab will have a lot to say on that, is the turnout of women who are the ones who really suffer in such insurgencies. They've had enough, and they've come out and they have hit out at the Pakistani state to shame Pakistan and its people, and it's more importantly its government and the army, at the sort of suppression brutality that they've been indulging in ever since 1947, but more so now, trying to suppress the voice of the people. But I think as far as the India angle is concerned, Pakistan always finds it convenient to find a bogey. It should introspect its Pakistan's own policies of exploiting Balochistan and its people mercilessly. 43 or 44% of its landmass is Balochistan. Balochistan is a rich province. They've exploited Balochistan for so long, whether it's the Sui gas, whether it's the Rekdeko mines, the copper gold mines, the resources, the natural resources. So I think Pakistan is an exploitative state. And what is really surprising me, I mean, apart from the sort of fallback or the reaction that's happening on the cricket world, is some of the patrons of Pakistan. You imagine they are issuing statements in Islamabad, their high commissions and their embassies condemning terrorist actions. But the very fact that their protege is the fountainhead of terror is something that they ignore.
Absolutely. General Hassan, let's bring in your perspective. You have, as Ambassador Sinha mentioned, women now at the front line of this war, and it is a war with the Pakistan army. We have some of those images on the screen. We have differing claims made from either side of the battle lines on the actual casualty figures, but they're high enough for reports to be coming in that the Gwadar port itself is not secure now, and China has suspended all operations on the ground. Consequences for the cricket universe as well. How do you look at it?
See, first of all, Barkha, thank you for inviting me for your program. I'll take off from where Ambassador Sinha just completed his intervention. The fact that women have joined into the suicide bombing is an indication by itself. That shows the end of the tether, virtually. Secondly, the high in volume of casualties, when they start taking place in this manner, the willingness of a large quantum of people to die for a particular cause, that shows you this level of seriousness to which you have reached. I'm surprised that the Pakistani state, the Pakistani security forces don't take this seriously enough beyond just carrying out these kind of forceful operations based upon guns and gunships and tanks and things like that. That's what also happening on the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa front at the moment. Only kinetic operations. You see the nature of operations on that itself. These various missions in Islamabad who are condemning terrorism, which you just mentioned, which are complete condemning terrorism, should be looking at the nature of response within the country itself. How much have the Pakistani security forces made an effort to reach out to these people? Try and just compare this to what happens in India. We have had our own a bit of problems in different parts of the country, but you see how we separate out our kinetic operations from our social well-being of the people, our outreach to the people, the kind of sadbhavanas that we carried out and things like that. At the moment, what the Pakistani state is obsessed with is geopolitics, an effort to reach out and become the favorite of the United States of America, to have its relationship with Turkey and Saudi Arabia embedded. We don't hear of any serious kind of efforts going on to resolve these problems on the ground here. And the only thing that they can find is to then point the finger towards India. And obviously they find that most convenient. What I also want to point out is this is a very dangerous phase, because each time this kind of a thing happens, if you remember what happened with the the very famous tunnel incident with the train just about a year ago when the BLA had attacked the train. It is thereafter that you found all those actions taking against Pahalgam. You found the deteriorating situation in the subcontinent at that time. Each time a thing of this type happens, this is the result of it in the subcontinent every time. We have to be on the guard, we have to be extremely careful of the manner in which progression of events is going to take place hereafter.
So I want to pick this last point up before I go to Bilal Saab. You remind us that Pahalgam terror attack followed what happened with the Jafar Express when the BLA basically attacked Pakistani soldiers and others who were on that train. And what followed was the Pahalgam terror attack. And you are actually saying, given the unrest in Balochistan, India needs to be specially on guard against Pakistan-sponsored terrorism. You are saying that directly, General.
Absolutely. I'm reinforcing that and stating it. This is the history. We have always seen these kind of incidents when they happen in Pakistan. The effect of it is always to try and divert attention, do something across the line of control inside India. And that is what resulted in.
Yeah, and that's a grim thought for us, but more on that later. Let me get the Baloch perspective. Bilal Saab, what can you tell us about what you're picking up on the ground, the situation on the ground? And as both of our sort of special experts have mentioned, women at the front line, women now joining the Fidain squad, women now turning suicide bombers, seems to express the last straw for the Baloch people. What is actually happening? The Pakistan state is claiming 145 what they call militants have been killed. The BLA is claiming 200 Pakistani security personnel killed. What is your own assessment?
Thank you, Barkha, for having me. First of all, I would like to, with due respect to your journal, that he said that you have a disciplined army, General Saab. You have a civilized army. You don't know Pakistan army and history. You have to glance first what you are talking about. I mean, myself, you cannot compare Pakistan army even with the African army. They are civilized. They have a discipline. Something. Now, come to your point, Barkaji. We talk about the women. There is a no doubt, but we know who are these women. These are the victim of the Pakistani fascist army. This is the reality. Both of the women, not only these two, before and whatever. In BLA, they are the victim. Pakistan army looting their resources from the by birth. I mean, when the British given birth to Pakistan 1947 after the independence of the India, from that day, the journal, one of our guests said, they attacked on the Khalat. They attacked on our sovereignty, on our state, and from that day, even our Baloch leaders tried their level best to be a part of this process and everything. The one of the our leader, Bukti Saab, was within the circle of the politics system. But what they did with him, they brutally killed him with their lot of followers. And after that, they are keep going till today. Thousands of the Baloch people are missing. And I don't understand that why they say this is India. We have to understand this is Pakistan who claimed the first Indian agent in Pakistan history was Mother Millat, the nation of the mother. The Qaedi Azam's sister become an Indian agent. So this is their routine. Whatever it's happened, whatever their fascism, whatever their brutally they do, they just claim it's India. India is not kidnapping my people. India is not torturing my people. India is not insulting my women. These are the agencies of the Pakistan intelligence agency. This is not the first time. We have seen what they did in Bangladesh. It's not me. Even you forget me and all other. I can show you sitting. Defense Minister is Khwaja Asif. His videos on the record that this army is brutal army. They never win any wars. They just do one thing: how to loot, how to manipulate the Pakistan political system, constitution, and everything. So we have to understand, because you people coming from different world, my panelists, you have to understand. India is a democratic country, democratic values, and they have democratic civilized army. Here we have a totally different scenario. Totally different. And sometimes I really shocked when I see that. They say, we killed the separatists. They didn't kill them. They came to them. Because they cannot, I'm telling you, they cannot kill their ideology. They are coming to die or to kill. Because this is their land. Pakistan occupied their land by birth. So we have to understand that now Balochistan on the point. Barkha, I'm really serious about it. Balochistan on the point, no return. Pakistan has to give them autonomy because Pakistan has signed a treaty with the UN and she has to give them autonomy and independence. Otherwise, there is a no anyway. No anyway. वो we people say बच्चा नफरत करता है. Single kids in Balochistan hate Pakistan and Pakistani army. They people claim they are killing the Punjabis. I just asked you, you think Baloch people don't know where the Punjab is? Where the Punjab province is. And in Balochistan, there is every 2 kilometer, they have a checkpost. Punjab is open for them. They have to understand that barrel of the gun with fascism, with brutal atrocities, you cannot capture Baloch people and their resources. Over to you, Barkha.
सिर्फ आपसे एक चीज पूछूंगी बिलाल साहब, यू सेड बच्चा बच्चा नफरत करता है पाकिस्तान आर्मी से, and you
Definitely.
said Balochistan is at a point of no return, but
Exactly.
clearly the Pakistan state is cracking down in the most violent way possible, killing your people, killing your women. What happens next? क्या होगा आगे? मतलब how do you fight the Pakistani state when it is so brutal?
My answer to you, what they did with the Bangladeshi people. They did the same thing, right? And today, एक टक्का 3 रुपए के बराबर है. So this is the reality. This is the reality. They have to understand that. कि बंदूक की जोर पे, on the barrel of the gun, you people cannot control and occupy state land. ये उन्हीं की जमीन है. ये उनकी की जमीन नहीं है. This land not belong to Pakistan. They occupied Balochistan when I told you, when British given them birth in 1947 after the independence of the India, this started. And now what they are doing, you have to see that. Media in their control, intellectual are there in control, each and everything. This is unfortunate for this Pakistani society. Their intellectual, their media, their everything. First, they are paralyzed by force by the Pakistan army. जो कुछ बचे हुए, they are first Pakistani Punjabi, then they are intellectual. This is the reality of this society. This is the reason वो अभी भी still today they are telling to the people they are just few people. I just tell you one thing quite simple and clear. May I request to the Chief Minister of Balochistan selected that do referendum in Balochistan. Why you are afraid for that? If you are telling to the media and all the world that there are just few people, do referendum. Everything will be clear. I told you, everything will be clear.
I feel and hear your pain, Bilal Saab, and your anger and your anguish. Let me get responses from Ambassador General. Ambassador Sinha, I'll start with you. The world reaction, we should talk about it. For decades, countries, had a view, whether we wanted it or not, on what was happening in India, in Jammu and Kashmir. And we would say it's none of your business, but as General Hasnain would say, along the army itself led Sadbhavna programs. General Hasnain had a reputation for being a corps commander who was known for, as he would drive through the valley, he used to carry bags and bags of sweets with him, and those sweets would be given to all the children who would line up alongside his convoy. So I have seen that personally with my own eyes, that never has the army's approach in the worst years of Kashmir, pre-Article 370, been to only use the language of the gun. Sadbhavna has been a key instrument of army communication in Kashmir. Why is the world not taking note of what is happening in Balochistan? Surely the Chinese know, surely the Americans know. We are hearing that the Chinese have pulled out their operations, their infra projects. Why is the world looking away from what's happening in Balochistan?
Barkha, I think as far as the international reaction has been very subdued, simply because in geopolitics, the current state of geopolitics, they look at Balochistan as rich in natural resources which they want to possess or own, whether it's the Chinese or the United States, and before that, the British. But, I have a lot of empathy for Bilal Saab and his people. I lived in Islamabad for 3 years. I could never go to Quetta, even though I wanted to visit Quetta and parts of Balochistan. I was never allowed to go there. But I remember in the 70s when the then Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto ordered the Pakistan Air Force to strafe Balochistan. This is the nature of the occupation. They are an occupying force, the Pakistan army, and they are committing all sorts of brutalities. And it's unfortunate and really sad that the international community is either looking the other way or condemning the wrong people. They should be condemning the Pakistani state. Where is Human Rights Watch and the other Amnesty International? They should be the ones, the paragons of human rights in the globe. They should be the ones who are highlighting the sort of activity, the brutality of the Pakistan army in Balochistan, and the very fact that no Baluchi now wants to live with Pakistan or live under the draconian laws that Pakistan has imposed on Balochistan.
Can I ask you before I go to General Hasnain, what impact you think that this might have on China and the way China looks at, its infrastructure projects in this area, critical to its CPEC ambitions, critical to all of that, right? It's One Belt, One Road initiatives. I mean, if China pulls out of this area, what are the largest security implications?
See, Barkha, the larger picture as far as CPEC is concerned, China was supposed to invest how much, 60 or $68 billion. I don't think they've invested even half that amount or just about that. But the fact is that Pakistan is an unstable state. It cannot provide security to its own people. It can't provide security to its investors. And the Chinese have realized they've come under repeated attack over the years. I mean, look at Gwadar port. Would have been a flourishing port by now, the amount of money that has been spent or invested in Gwadar. The Chinese are not foolish. They realize at the game of geopolitics, they remain invested, but I don't think they're going to waste too much time in terms of investing in new projects or investing in projects where the Pakistan state is unable to provide security. And that is why you have, for instance, other countries, and I'm referring to the United States, for instance, that is looking at rare earths. They're looking at minerals like copper and gold, and of course, also, I'm sure, eyeing the Gwadar port. So I think that is why, as far as the movement in Balochistan is concerned, it doesn't attract much international attention.
That's a really important point that Trump, the Pakistanis cozying up to Trump with the offer of minerals and those rare earth minerals. Balochistan rich in those. Americans probably happy to look away under Trump from the atrocities being inflicted on the Baloch people. General Hasnain, I want to bring you in. When you were Corps Commander in Kashmir, you famously, I described, of course, the toffees and the kids, but you famously said your heart was your best weapon. You were quoted as saying that your compassion never left your soldiering. And to which Bilal Saab says, General Saab, किस दुनिया में आप सोच रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान आर्मी कोई हमदर्दी दिखाएंगे हमें? हमदर्दी तो बहुत दूर की बात है. It is a brutal force. There is no sort of norm when it comes to how the Baloch people are being treated. So I just wanted your response to that.
See, Barkha, every nation has got its own military culture, I suppose. And Bilal Saab is correct, absolutely. The military culture of Pakistan is something completely different and opposite to India. They should have learned their lessons from way back in 1971 with what happened in Bangladesh, having lost your entire one half of your country because of the kind of kinetic operations that they carried out without their ability of using diplomacy and outreach and of that kind of a thing. They lost half their country. This should have been put down into the annals of their history, the lessons learned, and never to be repeated again. But then obviously they have never done that. In our case, traditionally as a nation, first of all, we have a very successful democracy. Pakistan claims it's a democracy. I don't say it's a democracy. It's a managed democracy. Our democracy is something very different. The military is completely answerable to the political authority, and we follow a principle of support to our people. Now, I'm not talking about Kashmir alone. You go to the Northeast and see everywhere in the Northeast, the kind of Sadbhavna is repeated there too, in all the areas there. All along the borders, what we do, the manner in which we manage the border populations. And of course, Kashmir is a different ballgame completely. As you said very correctly, I went in there and the first thing I said, my AK-47 is not my weapon. That is just an instrument. The actual thing is my heart. My heart is my weapon, right? And it made a difference. Our ability to reach out, go to the people, speak to them, and make them understand our issues. All this had a major effect. And you've seen the effect of it coming to some kind of a terminal effect today. In Pakistan, they cannot boast of this at all. And the sooner they learn their lessons, the better it will be for them. The unfortunate thing is that they think this is going to just blow over. And Bilal साहब, this is exactly their philosophy. वो समझते हैं कि ये तो बस momentary चीज है, आएगी जाएगी आएगी जाएगी. You have to convince them in their minds that the Baloch people have taken it upon themselves that they will fight to the last man, last round. And that is the only way the Pakistan army or Pakistan state is going to understand this.
बिलाल साहब, आप फ्रांस में हैं. हम बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे अबाउट द म्यूटेड sort of global response, and Ambassador Sinha explained it quite well. There's China, which of course has never really stood up for the rights of people anywhere in the world, but America जो बहुत बातें करती है about being a protector of democracy around the world, उनको शायद बलूचिस्तान में जो नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज हैं, जो मिनरल्स हैं, उसमें ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है. तो कैसे आप ये, जैसे जनरल हसन ने कहा कि ये जो इनका माइंडसेट है कि फोर्स हमारे साथ है, we can just sort of trample the rights, we can kill, eliminate as many people as we need to, लेकिन जमीन नहीं जाने देंगे, कैसे आप इसको काउंटर करेंगे?
देखिए, कल भी मैंने कुछ अमेरिकन जो थिंक टैंक है उनको सुना था, वो यही कह रहे थे कि अब अमेरिकन को भी ये महसूस होने लगा है कि यहाँ पे चीज़ें बहुत आसान नहीं है, जैसे कि लाइक चाइना लर्न द लेसन. ये इस पूरे दुनिया की बदकिस्मती है कि अमेरिका एक शाहबहादुर बना हुआ है. उसको वेनेजुएला में ये नज़र आता है कि वहाँ के लोग डिप्लॉयड हैं और जो वहाँ की जो गवर्नमेंट है, जो गवर्नमेंट के लोग हैं, उनको वो रात को अगवा कर देता है, जबकि उसके बरक्स बलूचिस्तान में इससे हालात बहुत बदतर है. मगर चूंकि लाइक यू सेड दे हैव इंटरेस्ट इन बलूचिस्तान, सो दिस इज रियलिटी दैट कि जब तक ये चीजें हम दुनिया को नहीं बताएंगे कि ये जो शाह बहादुर है उनकी अपने इंटरेस्ट है, जबकि इंडिया जैसा मुल्क जब उसको नो करता है तो उस पर पाबंदियां लगाता है. अब तो वो यूरोप पर भी पाबंदियां लगा रहा है, क्योंकि यूरोप ने उसको कहा है कि आप हमारे जमीन को ग्रीनलैंड पे आप कब्जा नहीं कर सकते. तो इस तरह की धमकियों से दुनिया अब नहीं चल सकती. अब आपने देखा है कि इंडिया और यूरोप एक साथ हो चुके हैं, उसने अपना एक ब्लॉक बना दिया है. अब मैं नहीं समझता, चाइना जैसा बहुत बड़ा मुल्क, चाइना के पास भी बहुत पावर है, बहुत ही इन्फ्लुएंस है पूरी दुनिया में, वो भी बलूचिस्तान में अपने पांव जमा नहीं सका. ये दुनिया को बताते थे कि हम बलूचिस्तान को पेरिस बनाएंगे, हांगकांग बनाएंगे, सिंगापुर बनाएंगे. कल आपने देख लिया, परसों, मुझे कहने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, धुआं आपने देखा, वहां पे आपने एग्रेशन देखा लोगों का. और दूसरी बात, यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट जब ये लोग वहां पे गए थे, जब ये सेपरेटिस्ट वहां पे गए थे, आपने लोगों का जज्बा देखा, वो उनको चूम रहे थे, गले से लगा रहे थे. टेररिस्ट को कोई गले से लगा लेता है, उसके हाथ में क्लाशनकोव था, उसके हाथ में ग्रेनेड था, उसके हाथ में रॉकेट था. तो ये कहना, मतलब आप अपने लोगों को बेवकूफ बना सकते हो. मैं पाकिस्तानी जो अशरफिया उसको बोलना चाहता हूँ, मैं पाकिस्तानी पंजाबी एस्टेब्लिशमेंट को बोलना चाहता हूँ कि यू पीपल कैन मेक योर पीपल फूल, बट दुनिया उनको सेपरेटिस्ट मानती है. और असाइड गवर्नमेंट, मैं यूरोप की बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं फ्रांस की बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं दूसरे लोगों की बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं यूएन में भी जाता हूँ, मैं दूसरे डिप्लोमेट से भी बात करता हूँ, दे हैव सिंपैथी फॉर द बलोच पीपल. कि आपने बलोच आपके पास मार्च करके आए, मामा कदीर की तरह, महात्मा गांधी की तरह, वो आपके पास है. आपने क्या किया उसके साथ? मारंग बलोच साहबा के साथ आपने क्या किया? आपने उसके ऊपर गटर का गंदा पानी फेंका, आपने उसको, मेरे बच्चियों को घसीटा आपने, और आपने उसको अभी भी जेल में रखा है. तो आप क्या समझते हैं बलोच का बच्चा आपको फूल पेश करेगा? बलोच का बच्चा वही करेगा जिसको उसको करना है. कल नहीं परसों उसने किया दुनिया के सामने. वो अपने लोगों को गले लगा रहे थे. तो मैं फिर कहता हूं बरकत जी, ये नो पॉइंट ऑफ रिटर्न पे आ चुका है. आप रेफरेंडम करा दें. मैं बोलता हूं, मैं डिमांड करता हूं, मैं पाकिस्तानी जर्नलों से कहता हूं कि आप अपने पंजाब के लोगों को बोलते हो वहां पे चंद सरदार है, इंडिया करा रहा है, मोसाद करा रहा है, CIA करा रहा है. ये क्या फारग बैठे? मतलब आप अपनी कोताहियों को, अपनी जो है ना जो आप ये जुल्म करते हो, बर्बरियत को, फासिज्म को, आप जितने भी फ्लेवर दो, इससे चीजें चेंज नहीं हो सकती। आपने 1971 में भी ये बोला था कि हमारी फौज आगे बढ़ रही है, नुसरुल फतेहुल करीब, फिर आपके हमारे पास जो जनरल बैठे हैं उसने आपके साथ क्या किया, दुनिया ने देखा। तो प्लीज, मैं आपकी रेफरेंस से, बरका साहबा, मैं आपको बहुत से लोग पाकिस्तान में देखते और सुनते हैं, मैं उन इंटेलेक्चुअल से बात करना चाहता हूं कि आप पहले इंसान और इंटेलेक्चुअल बने, फिर आपको अपने पंजाब की फिक्र होनी चाहिए। हम तो पंजाब में नहीं आ रहे, आप मेरे जमीन पे हैं, आपने मेरे बच्चों को अगवा किया, आपने मेरे बच्चों को मारा है, आपने मेरे बच्चों को किडनैप किया है, आप मेरे बच्चों का तजलील करते हो। तो ये अगर आप अपने किसी को भी मानते हो, मैं आपके सामने हाथ जोड़ता हूँ, ये बंद कर दें। क्योंकि मैं इसलिए कह रहा हूँ बरका साहिबा, आपके इंटेलेक्चुअल ये चीजें देखते हैं। अब पाकिस्तान के जितने भी आपके इंटेलेक्चुअल दोस्त हैं, आपकी शो को देखते हैं। ये जितने भी ये कह रहे हैं कि हमारा जो आसिम साहब है ना, दुनिया को बदल देगा, दुनिया को बदल देगा, वो नहीं करेगा, बिल्कुल नहीं करेगा। जालिम की कोई हद नहीं है। मतलब
बिलाल साहब, सारे इंटेलेक्चुअल्स पाकिस्तान में चुप हो जाते हैं जब पाकिस्तान आर्मी की बात आती है,
तो
दोस्त
नहीं,
हो या हो,
वो
किसी
उसकी
के बहुत 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 कम लोगों की
हेजमनी
जुबान चलती है।
हेजमनी
यस,
की बात आती है, जब उनकी हेजमनी की बात आती है, फिर वो पाकिस्तानी पंजाबी पहले बनते हैं, फिर इंटेलेक्चुअल बनते हैं, फिर जर्नलिस्ट बनते हैं, फिर शायर बनते हैं। दिस इज, ये अनफॉर्चुनेट है हमारी सोसाइटी के लिए।
जी, it really is heartbreaking, बिलाल साहब, to hear you. It's very disturbing. मैं यही कह सकती हूँ कि मुझे कोई ज्यादा उम्मीद नहीं है पाकिस्तान की इंटेलिजेंसिया से, जो आपको लगता है कि वो कुछ करेंगे. The control is so concentrated in the Pakistan military. The power structure itself is a problem. But let's, for a moment, also talk about the consequences of the sporting arena. Ambassador Sinha, I'll bring you in here. When Pahalgam happened and Operation Sindoor happened, I was one of those who believed that India should not have played Pakistan in the cricket match that it did. And the argument at that time was that there will be no bilateral sporting, but there will be, we can't walk out of multilateral series. Now look at what Pakistan is doing. Pakistan is using this occasion, not for the first time, to make a big song and dance. One, claiming solidarity with Bangladesh. Two, Mohsin Naqvi, who is not just minister but also the head of the Pakistan Cricket Board, is making all kinds of absurd comments about Balochistan and trying to blame India, which India has already rubbished. What do you believe should happen in this cricket kerfuffle that is taking place?
Barkha, I quite agree with you. I think, frankly, I would like to separate, these two issues completely, because what happens bilaterally between India and Pakistan in terms of the tensions, etc., shouldn't spill over to the sporting field. However, given the sort of tensions that were generated, the emotions that ran high after Sindoor, I can imagine if we don't want to play Pakistan bilaterally or invite them here in India or go to Pakistan ourselves. Of course, no sane team would want to go to Pakistan given their history of, problems, law and order issues. But I think Pakistan is shooting itself in its foot because by boycotting the match against India, one, of course, forget about conceding the points for that match, but more importantly, they are setting an example which is not worthy of emulation, and there will be penalties that will be levied on Pakistan. And the Pakistan Cricket Board needs the money. I mean, the nation needs money. The cricket board needs money. I thought wiser counsel would prevail because they need to sort of stay afloat, and I don't think they can stay afloat if with an attitude like that. And I do hope the ICC comes down very strongly on Pakistan, because if they were really, you mentioned solidarity with Bangladesh, they should have walked out in solidarity with Bangladesh. They should have dropped out and let another team come and play instead of doing this cheap sort of drama on the eve of the World Cup.
Bilal Saab, before I give General Hasnain the last word, आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी, कुछ बलूच एक्टिविस्ट हैं, उन्होंने सोशल मीडिया में ये बात शुरू की कि भारत का मैच होना चाहिए बलूच लोगों के साथ. इस पे मतलब क्रिकेट की कंट्रोवर्सी को आप फॉलो कर रहे हैं. मुझे मालूम है कि बहुत छोटी बात लगती होगी गिवन हाउ द बलूच पीपल आर बीइंग मैसेकर्ड, लेकिन फिर भी आप भी शायद फॉलो कर रहे होंगे इस पूरी कंट्रोवर्सी को. आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे?
देखिए, एक बात तो कंफर्म है, मैं इंडिया की बात करता हूँ, जो मुल्क अपने जमीन पे अल्लाह और रसूल के नाम पे बच्चों को ट्रेन करता है, وہ آپ کے آ کے لوگوں کو چن چن کے اللہ اور رسول کے نام پہ مارتے ہیں, شہید کرتے ہیں. ان سے کرکٹ کھیلنا میرے خیال میں ان کی جو, اب میرے پاس وہ الفاظ نہیں ہے, میرے شبد نہیں ہے جو میں یوز کر سکوں, میرے خیال میں وہ کرنا چاہیے آپ کو. باقی رہی بات ہماری, ہم ہر ایک ڈیموکریٹک کنٹریز کے ساتھ ہم کھیلنا چاہتے ہیں. وی آر پیسفل پیپل ان دا ورلڈ. ہم
جی
انڈیا کے ساتھ کھیلنا بالکل چاہتے ہیں. اگر ہماری کوئی کرکٹ ٹیم ہو, فٹ بال ہو, ہم بالکل کھیلنا چاہتے ہیں. ہم تو دنیا کے کسی بھی ڈیموکریٹک, کیونکہ پاکستان ڈیموکریٹک ملک نہیں ہے. 30 سال تو یہاں آپ کو بھی پتا ہے کہ ڈنڈے کی زور پہ فوج نے حکومت کی ہے. ابھی بھی جو ہائبرڈ ہے, ان کے منسٹر خود ٹی وی پہ بڑے فخر کے ساتھ کہتے ہیں ہم ہائبرڈ ہیں, اس طرح کی چیزیں بات کرتے ہیں. تو ہم بالکل ہی تیار ہیں کرکٹ کھیلنے کے لیے. باقی پاکستان کرکٹ کھیلے نہیں کھیلے, اگر کھیلتا تو ہار اس کو ہو جاتی. ابھی بھی اس کی ہار ہو چکی ہے, انہوں نے ہار مان لی ہے. اب تو ہمیں تو ہسٹری کا پتا ہے نا کتنے میچ ہوئے ہیں ہندوستان اور پاکستان کے درمیان.
جی
تھینک یو.
تھوڑا میں نے کہا بلال صاحب اتنی آپ اتنی اینگوش میں ہیں کہ تھوڑا آپ کا بھی دل 2 منٹ کے لیے
صاحبہ, یہ
ہلکا.
نہیں میرے یہ ہر کسی بلوچ کا جو
جی
بلوچستان سے تعلق رکھتا ہے, جو بلوچ ہے,
جی
اس کے دل میں
جی
یہی بھاونائیں
نہیں
ہیں, یہی چیز فیلنگ.
میں سمجھ
آنےسٹلی میں
سکتی
آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں, ہم بہت تنگ ہیں. اس کا مطلب یہ ویشی لوگ ہیں, یہ اپنے ملک میں احمدیوں کو قبروں سے نکال کے ان کی تذلیل کرتے ہیں. کیسی دنیا میں کہیں پہ ایسا ہوا ہے آپ مجھے بتاؤ. اور سپورٹ کون کرتا ہے؟ پاکستانی اسٹیبلشمنٹ, ان کے پیچھے وہی پر. اور گرجا گھروں کو جلانا, لوگوں کو, مطلب کون سا دن نہیں ہے, ایسا کون سا دن نہیں ہے جو ہم نہیں سنتے کہ وہاں پہ کیا نہیں ہو رہا. اور مجھے حیرت ہوتی ہے ان کی میڈیا پہ, ان کے انٹلیکچوئل پہ, خاموش تماشائی بنے بیٹھے ہیں, کچھ کہتے نہیں ہیں. ایک بہت بڑا رول ہوتا ہے جرنلسٹ کا, میڈیا کا, عدلیہ کا, مگر کوئی کو کسی کے کان میں جھو نہیں رہتی. اٹس ریئلی الارمنگ. میں بار بار کہہ چکا ہوں, میں نے اپنی دیوار بڑی کی ہے. آئی جسٹ نیڈ اے ڈور. مجھے دروازے کی ضرورت ہے. مگر میرے جو پڑوس میں, جو آپ کے پڑوس میں بھی یہی رہ رہے ہیں نا, کیا حال کیا آپ کے لوگوں کا. ہر لوگوں کو, مطلب اللہ اور رسول کی, یہ ہمارے جنرل صاحب بیٹھے ہیں, وہاں پہ بھی مسلمان رہتے ہیں. کبھی انڈیا نے مسلمانوں کو ٹرین کر کے پاکستان بھیجا ہے اللہ اور رسول کے نام پہ؟ کبھی آپ نے سنا ہے کہ ایک انڈین مسلمان نے کہیں دنیا میں آتنکوادی کی ہو دنیا میں؟ وہاں پر بھی مسلمان رہتے. میں آپ سے پوچھ رہا ہوں, آپ مطلب آپ اتنے بڑے انٹلیکچوئل ہیں, جرنلسٹ, یو ہیو ہرڈ اینی انڈین مسلم جس نے کبھی یورپ میں, امریکہ میں اللہ اکبر کہہ کے اپنے آپ کو پڑھا؟ یہاں پہ تو ایک داستان ہے آپ کے پاس. 9/11 ہوا, 7/7 ہوا, فرانس میں چارلی ابدو ہوا, اسپین میں ہوا, اٹلی میں ہوا, ہر جگہ پہ علامہ اقبال کے شاہین پہنچ جاتے, کبھی لوگوں کو بندی بنا دیتے. اب کون ان کے ساتھ رہ سکتا؟ میری آئیڈینٹی تھریٹ ہے. میرے پاس تو فرانس کا پاسپورٹ ہے, مگر میرے بلوچوں کی آئیڈینٹی تھریٹ ہے جب وہ پاکستانی پاسپورٹ لے کے کہیں اترتے ہیں.
جی
یہ بڑا دعویٰ. مجھے ایک بات کہنے دیں, یہ دنیا میں دعویٰ کرتے ہیں ہم مسلمان امت کے چیمپئن ہیں, وی آر چیمپئن آف دا مسلم امت. مسلمانوں کا سب سے بڑا ملک انڈونیشیا ہے, وہ بھی ان کو ویزا نہیں فری دیتا ہے. آپ کے ہندوستان کے مسلمان اور ہندوستان کے لوگ ہندوستانی پاسپورٹ پہ وہاں پہ ارائیول میں ویزا لیتے ہیں. کس چیز کا دعویٰ کرتے ہیں؟ اپنے لوگوں کو کہاں تک لے جا چکے ہیں. ابھی بھی کہہ رہے ہیں دنیا ہم سے ڈیل کر رہی ہے, دنیا ہم سے ڈیل کر رہی ہے. ہم نے آپ کی پوری دیکھا کہ کس طریقے سے میزائل, میں نے اپنی زندگی میں پہلی دفعہ میزائل کی جیسے کہ گر رہے تھے, پنجاب میں گر رہے تھے, اور آپ نے آ کے دنیا کو بولا ہم نے جنگ جیتا. اس طریقے کی چیزیں جب آپ کرو گے تو میں نہیں سمجھتا کہ آپ کے یہاں کوئی بہتری آئے گی.
جی
میں آپ کی معاشرے کی بہتری کے لیے بات کر رہا ہوں. اور رہی بات بلوچستان کی, وہ تو ان کے ہاتھ سے نکل چکا ہے, آنےسٹلی نکل چکا ہے.
آپ کہہ رہے ہیں بلوچستان پاکستان کے ہاتھ سے نکل چکا ہے؟
میں 100%. ابھی بھی آپ دیکھیں رات کو تو وہاں پہ گاڑیاں نہیں چلتی ہیں, وہاں پہ بسیں نہیں چلتی ہیں, وہاں پہ سب کو پتا ہے وہاں پہ کیا حالات ہیں. یہ اپنے لوگوں کو نہیں بتاتے. انٹرنیشنل میڈیا کو الاؤ کریں, جا کے وزٹ کرا دیں وہاں پہ. اگر کل جو یہ نکلے تھے ہمارے جو بگٹی صاحب جو نکلے تھے, سرفراز بگٹی صاحب, اپنے سی ایم ہاؤس سے باہر نکل کے ٹک ٹاک بنا دیا. یہ ٹک ٹاک کی دور نہیں ہے. آپ اپنے انٹلیکچوئل کے ساتھ, اپنے پروپیگنڈا ٹول کے ساتھ انڈیا کو سوشل میڈیا پہ ہرا سکتے ہو. मगर इंडिया को रियल जंग में आप लोग सोच भी नहीं सकते, जैसे कि उन्होंने तो जंग जीत चुका है ना, वो जंग फील्ड मार्शल बना दिया, और उसकी आप मैं मजाक नहीं कर रहा, वहां पे
नहीं
ऐसा ही है।
नहीं, मैं आप पे नहीं हंस, मैं आपकी बात पे नहीं हंस रही हूं, मैं इस बात पे हंस रही हूं कि हारी हुई जंग के बाद एक जनरल साहब को प्रमोशन दी गई, मैं इस बात पे हंस रही हूँ बिलाल साहब।
आप उसका लेवल में, आप उसका लेवल देखें, अभी जो आपके पास जो आर्मीज की जो एक लिस्ट आई है उनके अंदर देखें, पहले पाकिस्तान कहाँ था, अब कहाँ पर है पाकिस्तान।
जी जी। Again, I want to say, Bilal Sahab, I feel your pain. I know Ambassador Sinha and General Hussain do as well. General Hussain, I'll give you the last word. Again, on the cricket, I think the public sentiment in India is quite clear. Our poll, if we can bring it up briefly, says 37% of Indians hope that the ICC basically throws Pakistan out of this series. I agree with Ambassador Sinha that it feels somewhat uncomfortable to be discussing the massacre of people alongside a sporting tournament. But this is not for the first time that everything in this region is interlinked. And Pakistan has done this, citing Bangladesh. Today, Mohsin Naqvi talking about Balochistan. Hence, I had to bring it into this conversation. Let me give you the last word, sir.
Let me finish on two counts, Barkha. The first, I would support any aspect of sports diplomacy which assists and helps in isolating the Pakistani state and projecting to the world that Pakistan is a rogue state. That is the bottom line on this. The second thing which I want to convey, taking a cue from what Bilal Saab has just said, is that you've also seen for the better part of 2 years of war fought in West Asia, in Palestine. You've seen it in Gaza. There too kinetics was used in the same manner. Can any military person today or a diplomat or anyone say that they have won this war, that war? That war has not been won either. Kinetics don't win these kind of wars. Kinetics can win conventional wars where you have surrenders and that kind of a thing. Territorial, takeover and things of that nature. These are different nature of conflicts. These are hybrid conflicts. These are conflicts which are people involved in this. In this, you can keep killing till the last man. The next generation will still rise. So, Pakistan needs to get its lessons of history clear. That is one thing which I would strongly tell the Pakistan Army.
All right, we leave it there. This has been both an erudite and an emotional show. Bilal Saab, I have, as I said, zero expectations of any intelligentsia in Pakistan being able to move the centralized power that structurally the Pakistan military continues to wield. And until that structure can be dismantled, I believe that we are all stuck with the form of Pakistan and the Pakistan state, rather, I should say, this particular form of the Pakistani state. Even though many people in Pakistan may want a different state. And the Baloch people, of course, Bilal Baloch there saying it is an inflection point, and we will all be watching this moment very, very carefully. Thanking Bilal Baloch, General Atta Hasnain, Ambassador Yash Sinha, always a pleasure. Thanking our audience, and see you tomorrow. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.